Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. We are here for yet another day. I told y'all I was going to be doing CCC Live segment every Tuesday. It was hard for me. Come on here, y'all. I did not want to come. I did. It's a slow day for me, and I wanted to keep it as such, but I had some time. So, I pray y'all do not slay amazing. How y'all doing? Wait for some more people to come in. As you see by the title, this topic is game changer. I'm excited about it. Illuminating shadows. And you may see like the topic and be like, what is she talking about? And it's not so much of what people think illuminating is, but it's helping to clarify and explain something. That's literally what illuminating is. I'm not referencing no particular cult type situation. We're not talking about that. I don't even talk about stuff like that. So if you are seeing my face for the first time, welcome. I am your life and leadership coach and a realist on the planet. Just saying. Okay. You ain't gonna find another one realist. I'm the realest on the planet. I'm a real spitfire. I keep it a G with love and light. Okay. I would definitely come and deliver truth. I was called to deliver truth. But as you see on the title, right? Illuminating shadows. I want to reference it when it comes to connections and confessions so you can provide some clarity because that's all illuminating is. It's helping to clarify or explain something. And so, in situations, in relationships, connections, whether it's personally, professionally, or spiritually, when we identify illuminating shadows, it's what the relationship teaches us about ourselves. That's literally what it does. It's not necessarily bringing clarity about others. It's just of oneself. And a lot of us are having a hard time accepting the illuminating shadows. A lot of us is having a hard time in a space of allowing the relationship to teach us about ourselves. We are in relationships, and when red flags come up, we love to put so much attention on the person versus allowing the red flag to actually teach us something about ourselves. That's what illuminating shadows are. Hey, hey, what's up? That's what illuminating shadows are, is where you allow whatever transpired in a relationship to teach you something about oneself so you can actually learn the lesson. So it's not showing up again in your next relationship. And it's not showing up in a way where you start to become the red flag yourself. I'm from the South, and it's something that you put yourself in a position where you be like, okay, I know this red flag has, this person show their true colors in a sense, but what can I learn from this? Thank you. I'm good. What can I learn from this? What can I grow from this? Right? Yes, this red flag kind of highlights this person and, they're a narcissist. Let's start there. Right? You date people or be in experience with people that's a narcissist, right? Immediately we put all the tension on that person versus we start, instead of allowing it to teach us who we are, right? Allow us to teach us a lesson of oneself. If you find yourself drawn to, hey, 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 thank y'all for tuning in. If you find yourself drawn to narcissists, that is more a reflection to oneself than it is to the actual narcissist themselves. Okay. If you find yourself having a hard time to release a narcissist, that speaks more about what you have to learn, what you have to heal, what you have to grow versus the other individual. We don't want to accept this. We don't want to talk about it because we feel as if we're allowing the other person to escape their bad behavior, but that's not our job to teach them of their bad behavior. As you see in oneself, you take some time. One morning, that's how I try to get you. Aw, thank you. Thank you for the support all the way from England. That's what's up. I appreciate you. And if we really focus on what we have to learn, what we have to heal, what we have to grow within relationships versus putting all the attention on the other person and the connection, then we can actually get off the hamster wheel fast enough and we won't find ourselves repeating same relationships that causes damage or that causes chaos or that causes drama or causes conflict. I am definitely a living testament of that. My relationships kind of resulted in the same with it didn't matter personally. Well, let's talk about personally, right? Intimate relationships past all the way from like middle school to even to my last marriage. It all reflected in the same where I always got cheated on. And for the longest, I used to be like, why they always gotta cheat? Like, is what's wrong with them? There's something wrong with it. And it seemed like every single relationship I was in, I got cheated on. And it took for me to do some self reflection of oneself. I'm drawn to a specific type where I was continuously overlooking what was missing within myself. Thanks, George. We appreciate you. I was overlooking that piece of myself that was drawn to individuals that were self centered. Hey, 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 thank you for diving in. And I was saying to myself, like, it's not that I should blame myself because of their actions, but it's for me to take a deeper look into why I was allowing or overseeing because let's keep it a buck when it comes to that particular topic in relationships. The signs are there before the action happens. Okay, whether you want to admit it or not, the signs are there before the action happens. And it was something about me that kept ignoring the signs. Same within my friendships, I ignored the signs of two-facedness. Okay. And with cheating, that's what cheating is. It's another form of two-facedness. So I had to take a look at myself and be like, why am I ignoring the two-facedness, whether it was friendships or intimate relationships? Why am I ignoring it? Why is it something that I feel like I give a pass? It's something within me. And it came down to my abandonment issues. I ignored the signs because I didn't want to be by myself and was hoping people would change, right? That was an illuminating shadow for me where I had to take a moment, take a step back, and just be like, what is going on in these relationships that is a repeated cycle that it needs to teach me about myself? This is what y'all missing. This is what y'all skipping over. And then you want to be as if because I'm seeing a lot of content, right? I'm seeing a lot of content. A lot of people be like, especially from women, that they're just like all men are dogs, all men are this, you know, I don't need to deal with no man, but there's something there that you're not learning. You're not allowing every encounter that you're having and you feel like you're dealing like you're on a repeated cycle. It's something there that you're not allowing the illuminating shadow to teach you about your relationships. And so now you're becoming bitter. One thing I refuse to do in my life was become a bitter woman. I don't care how much I got broken. I don't care how much I got disrespected. I don't care how much I never wanted to be bitter. Whatever I went through, I made a conscious effort to heal. And a lot of you guys are skipping over that. And the healing comes from allowing the illuminating shadows to actually teach you something about oneself. That's the healing. If you are refusing to heal, then yeah, all men are dogs, all women are hoes, like all that type of stuff, right? It that speaks volume. You was like, nah, I'm past her, I'm done with her. Yeah, are we? Because you sound real mad. You sound real mad, whether it's for content or not. You sound real mad. You sound real bitter. You sound real ugh, like they still hold a piece of you. That part. If you don't take the time to allow the illuminating shadows to teach you about oneself, then they will forever hold a piece of you, forever. And you will be put in a space where the hamster wheel will continue to be your home. You will never get off. You will never be in a space of um, finding different, knowing you deserve different, right? Because you're in a conscious mindset that this is just what it is. And you feel like everybody's the same, and everybody's not the same. Once you start to heal, you realize that. But until you allow the illuminating shadows to really dive in, and I want y'all to really ask questions, y'all. I want y'all to dive in. I want y'all to tune in. I want y'all to really connect because I really want us to get to a space where, oh, excuse me, we allow healing to teach us something. Because I have came across clients where they said they have done the healing journey, they have done the work, they have done um, what it needed to be done, right? They took the time and they did what needed to be done, but yet they found themselves in the same situation again with another relationship. Hey, they find themselves in the same situation, and I said, so what did you actually heal? Like, what did your previous connections teach you? And they couldn't answer. And for that, that told me that nothing, they didn't heal. They didn't realize something of oneself where they were showing up the same way in every relationship. It's very important. I know there's two parts to every story. Well, three parts, you know what I mean? His side, her side, and the truth, right? So we have to take accountability for oneself. We can't get mad if the other person is not taking accountability. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is for oneself. And when you start to see the red flags and you start to see the true colors, when the rose colored glasses come off, when you start to see things for what it is and not for what you want it to be, that is an illuminating shadow trying to teach you something about oneself, right? Yes, it's highlighting that person's actions, it's highlighting that person's mentality, it's highlighting that person's emotions, it's highlighting that person, but it's also providing you an opportunity for it to teach you about oneself. What about you that you have not healed is gravitated to that dysfunction, to that chaos, to the lying, to the cheating, to the disrespect, right? To the abuse. What about you have you not healed? Okay, is drawing you to that type of situation. That is what the illuminating shadows is supposed to teach you. That's what the red flags is supposed to teach you. That's what the true colors is supposed to teach you. Yeah, it's shining a light on the other person, right? That's what it's supposed to do. When the true colors come out, when the rose colored glasses come off, right? When the red flags start waving in surrender, it's highlighting. It's shining a light on that person, right? But ultimately it's supposed to teach you something about oneself. And that's the part we're missing. We're so focused on looking at that person, saying that person is this, that person is that, okay? They a dog, she a hoe, right? Blase, 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 blase. I want to reference this with family. I want to kind of spin it, you know what I mean, with family, because we also are in repeated cycles with our family, and we don't want to admit it. I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. Okay, what is it about your relationship with family, right? And I want to kind of highlight with parentals because I have been there, and siblings. Okay, I don't have the best relationship with my siblings at all, and it took for me to not just have the rose colored glasses come off, not just for the true colors to be shown, but for me to actually highlight and allow this to teach me something about oneself. And it came back to that abandonment issue that I struggled with my entire life, of why I tolerated so much from people. And then it also came back to the tradition that I was taught, where at the end of the day, they're family. You understand how that statement has ruined most of our community? At the end of the day, we're family. That does not give a pass for disrespect. That does not give a pass for mistreatment or there's no pass with that. Okay. And then you have to allow what has been revealed to teach you about oneself. And for me, that showed me that I was a doormat for family. I was. I allowed family to treat me, speak to me any type of way, move in and out of my life any type of way because of that one statement that I was taught, because they're family. A lot of us is at that space. No, and nobody's saying you got to be bitter. Nobody's saying you got to be angry, but you got to have respect for oneself, right? You were created in truth. And in doing so and understanding that, you got to walk in truth. And if you're noticing your connections with your family is rocky, chaotic, dysfunction, however you want to say, whatever it's showing up, it's not always the family's fault. Sometimes you have to really sit and be like, what is this teaching me about myself? What about myself that I still have to heal? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be very honest. There's not going to be any type of advice that anybody can give you in that moment. This is something that it's going to take time. It's hard. I'm sorry that you had to experience that because that is a pain a lot of people has not experienced, and it's a pain that a lot of people are still healing from. And that's something that you definitely have to allow time to heal that wound. That's something I haven't experienced, so I can't even give advice on that. But I do pray for your strength in that time. I do. And know that your mother is at peace. But we are all have to be in a space where you have to reflect on oneself when relationships don't always, it's not always about what the other person did if the relationship does not go right. I know, I know, right? It could be their actions caused the relationship to dismantle or disconnect, but it's also something there that was highlighted in their action that needs to teach you something about oneself. So you're not repeating it in the next, right? Because let me tell you what we have a tendency of doing. And I don't even know if it's still happening. I think it is. Y'all correct me in the comments, but I feel like a lot of people, to get over the last, they hop on to the next still to this day. Why? I have no idea, but they do. And if you are making that conscious decision, then you have not taken the time to heal or to learn anything about oneself. And then you can't be surprised if this next one is just like the last one. It don't matter if you change your type. It don't matter if you found a new location. Okay, you're going to see a lot of similarities in the new one if you ain't healed or learn nothing from the last one. Period. And that's all I'm wanting to highlight and bring awareness to is I understand it's very hard to accept accountability of oneself, right? We can always highlight accountability of what somebody else got to do, the responsibility of somebody else. We can always see that real clear. But of oneself, it's hard for us to accept accountability and our responsibility. And it's not even the part that we played for the relationship to dismantle, but it's the part that we played that we never healed before we even got into the relationship to begin with. Let's talk about it. When we get into relationships, 80% of the time we're broken. 20% that is healed getting into relationships is years later, right? But offer it, 80% of us are broken when we enter in relationships because we have not healed childhood wounds, right? It takes us a very long time to even engage into healing of our childhood wounds, right? If you find yourself realizing this within a relationship, I advise you to take a step back and do some healing. Be okay with being single for a while. So when that person that is supposed to be in your life, because a lot of times we also messed up our ones because we ain't healed. A lot of us have messed up the ones that were supposed to be in our lives because we didn't take the time to heal. Heal oneself, heal family dysfunction. Like we didn't do no type of healing, no type of inner work. And the one that was supposed to be our one, we messed it up. I know a few, right? But that's because we are also on that mindset, off the last, on to the next type situation. Let's do it differently. Let's actually take some time to heal before we even enter in another connection, another relationship. Let's actually take some time to learn some lessons from the last before we go on to the next. I know singleness, being single can be boring, but it's so much peace and it's so calm and tranquil, honestly speaking. And it's something that you will learn a lot about oneself. And then once you start to, or you feel that you're ready to get into a relationship, then you don't have to wait for red flags. You don't have to wait for the rose colored glasses. Like you wouldn't be deceived as easily and you see things for what it is or for it. I know this particular live may not have resonated with a lot, or a lot of you guys are not ready for the truth about it, and I get it. I completely understand it. This takes time for you to gain this level of clarity, right? A lot of you guys are not really wanting clarity right now or understanding. A lot of you guys are content, and that's okay. But this particular live is for those who are wondering in that empty space of when will better approach. And I did a content on TikTok. I finally did a personal TikTok, y'all, at Tiffany.Lorette, Lorette. And I did a video on there of a lot of you guys are wondering why you have not rose or risen to your highest potential yet. It's because you refuse to release the weight of yesterday. And this kind of references that. The illuminating shadows in your relationships that comes forth provides you opportunity of teaching oneself. But if you are not willing to release the weight of yesterday, nothing can be taught today. That's a message for somebody. You have to be willing to release something in order to gain something on the next day. And so if you're wondering why you're still in the same position in your relationships, if you're wondering why you're still dealing with the same type of people, yeah, your energy, your light attracts darkness. Granted, I get that. I understand that. But you don't know how to navigate your darkness yet. You don't know how to navigate through it yet. Even though the light that you possess, you understand it, but you have not gained the understanding through these illuminating shadows to be able to teach you how to navigate through the darkness in a healthier way, using your light, not navigating the darkness and then become one with darkness. That's different. But navigating the darkness using your light. Okay, that's a message for somebody. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you are wanting and looking for a safe, secure community space, visit nextlevelwellness.club for more information. We dive into life and leadership next level, where you go from burnout to breakthrough. That is what we're about. And that reflects personally, professionally, and spiritually. Next level. Be a blessing, y'all, unto others, but know that you're blessed too.